couple of years ago, I injured my right AC joint. That's the acromioclavicular joint. It's the joint that connects your clavicle or your collarbone to your scapula. And if my hand was, imagine this being my right scapula, it looks something like this. My finger represents what's called the acromion. It's a little protuberance. And this represents the clavicle itself. And where they connect here is the AC joint. And in my case, I fell down on the stairs, braced myself with my elbow, fell on my seat, and the force of the elbow pushed my humerus upwards. So I had a grade 3, about a grade 2 or grade 3 sprain of my AC joint. And it's unstable. A grade 3 sprain is when several of the fibers have been torn. It's a partial, sort of a partial fibrous tear, definitely not a complete tear. And so you get a little bit excess movement. Now, after a couple of months, I didn't feel much pain there, much discomfort. But recently, I did a lot of heavy labor activity because I was renovating my house. So I was carrying 80-pound bags of concrete, heavy lumber, etc. And that put a big stress on the AC joint and caused excess movement there. And it resulted in pretty bad pain. And that pain was coming from the overstretched ligaments, the excess movement of the clavicle and the acromion rubbed on the supraspinatus tendon and the other ligaments in that region that stabilize the shoulder. And what I winded up with was just a pretty intense pain around this area. And it wasn't going away that well with ice. As you know, I'm a big advocate of self-care, self-rehabilitation. That's what my channel's about. One of the modalities that I have found success with is pulsed EMF. Pulsed EMF basically is pulsed electromagnetic waves that are generated by electricity moving through a coil. I've been using this device. It's called the FlexPulse, and it's one of the few portable pulsed EMF models or devices out there. Now, don't confuse this with a TENS unit. Now, the TENS unit is more common. A TENS unit has electrodes that you place on your skin, and this current gets picked up by the sensory nerves right below the skin and interferes with the pain signals. It's a temporary blocking. This is not that. The attachment to it is a coiled wire. So they're not open-ended like a TENS electrode would be. So it's, I don't know if you could see that, but it's coiled. And again, when the electricity goes through that, there's a magnetic field that is emanated, that is propagated 90 degrees to it. So imagine the electricity, the pulsed electricity coming through the wire into the coil and back to the machine, and the current flow here emanates the electromagnetic field in an omnidirectional manner. So you place the pain, or the part that you want to treat, right in the center of this pad onto your body, and you've got to find a way to hold it to your body, and I'm going to show you what I do. So I just take this cloth tape. You could get it at your local drugstore, probably like $5 to $10. Make sure the coil side is down. Go like that. So now I have my coil nice and taped. I'm going to place it right over the AC joint. I'm going to place the coil right over it, press down. Now I'm going to attach the end to the device. So here's the FlexPulse, a pulsed EMF portable device. I'm going to turn it on. It's got 7 pre-programmed states that deal with the pulse rate and the frequency. You could set the power from 1 to 10 and the time. The program itself is not that critical. You could choose any one and experiment and see which one works for you. I'm going to go with 23 Hertz. That's what I've been doing for this shoulder. It seems to be working. Power level at 10, and I'm going to go continuous. I don't know if you could see that. Then you press this little button here, and you're off, and it'll run until the battery runs out. It's got a nice little belt clip that you can put on your belt. You could put your shirt over it, get treatment incognito. People won't be able to see it. You could get treatment in your office and out in public. So that's what I like about the FlexPulse. Most pulse EMF machines obviously are big and bulky, and you've got to lie down on them or put a larger coil. They have more power, and yeah, you'll get quicker results with those, but you know, who has time these days to just sit still for like 30 minutes? So the FlexPulse is a good alternative if you're on the move, and you could get treatment on the move. You don't have to stop everything you're doing. You can do it at work, and it's very light. Now, one thing, it is quite expensive. The distributor I'm working with imports it from, I believe, Germany. The cost is quite high, and you know, I don't recommend you get this if you're in financial straits, obviously, but if you have the means to do it and you have chronic issues, chronic pain, FlexPulse is a good option. So other examples of where you can use it, you could use it for like any kind of like focalized injury or pain that's taking a longer time to heal for whatever reason. One thing I forgot to mention is it comes with 2 pads. I just used 1. If you use 2, then it splits the power between the 2. You can position these coils around a larger area, but it'll be not as powerful because that power will be dissipated. It will be halved. And some people put one on either side of their temples to help reduce headaches. You can also put these under your pillow if you're having insomnia, and it may be able to help you sleep better. Again, the pulsed EMF helps normalize the charges in cells that are experiencing some type of dysfunction, and in doing so, some therapeutic benefits occur. Primarily improved membrane transport. When that happens, you get better, more efficient transport of toxins out of the cell, or waste products out of the cell, and nutrients and oxygen into the cell. And obviously something like that is going to help a sick cell get better. Okay, so the FlexPulse, pulsed EMF, you can check it out on pulsedemf.com. Do your research, evaluate it. If it works, it's another great example of something that you could do to self-rehabilitate, self-treat on your own, and without having to take harmful drugs or medication. So that's it. See you next time.